Hello, my name is Dr. Adnan Yousaf, and from today I will discuss the neurology section of first aid. And before starting, I want you to tell few things that my mother language is not English, so you may have to wait before I make things clear to you. Second thing, I want you to tell that knowledge is not a collection that belongs to someone. If you find any ambiguity or any kind of mistake, you can discuss in comment section. And it is not a lecture but more of a discussion based study where the main aim is to complete the first aid in defined period in a stepwise process and in a disciplined way. So this is neurology, and if you are starting your USMLE study, you can start with me and I will try to complete this first aid neurology section in almost 7 parts, 6 to 7 parts. So be with me, and if you find it helpful, you can subscribe to my channel. So let us start. So here is the notochord, and notochord induce overlying ectoderm to differentiate into neuroectoderm and from the neural plate. So you can see here that this is the notochord. The small dot is the notochord, and above is the neural plate. Okay, and it is differentiate the neural ectoderm and the neural plate. Notochord become nucleus pulposus of the intervertebral disc in adults. Neural plate give rise to neural tube and the neural cross cells. The neural plate above is like a curve shaped structure. This here becomes a more curved state, and when these edges will close, this will form a neural tube. You can see here, and the cells here will called as the crus cells. The lateral wall of neural tubes are divided into alar and the basal plates. Here we can say that these are the lateral parts of the tube, in which are now called as the alar and the basal plates. Alar plates, which are on the dorsal side, they form the sensory part, induced by bone macrophage morphogenetic proteins (BMPs). And the basal part, which is on the ventral side, it forms the motor, induced by sonic hedgehogs. So these sensory and the motor parts which we are seeing here, you can relate it to the spinal cords, where we discuss the sensory root ganglions and the motor root ganglions, or dorsal root ganglions, the ventral root ganglions. The regionalization of the neural tubes. Here we will see that which part will develop into which thing. So the first part is called as the telencephalon. This is the first part. Diencephalon is the second part, and the rest are arranged alphabetically. Mesencephalon, metencephalon, and myencephalon. We can see this in picture. This is the first part, and which is called the forebrain, and it is in the former side. So the forebrain prosencephalon, and this is in the mid, so mid brain, and the mesencephalon, and this is from the rear side. You can see it is in it is a hind brain, or the rhombencephalon. Okay, the forebrain, it is collectively as a telencephalon and the diencephalon. The telencephalon, you can see the structure and the hair structure. These will differentiate the cerebral hemispheres, the you can say right and left cerebral hemispheres, and these are more differentiated here in this picture. And these are the lateral ventricles and the third ventricle. And this structure here is the thalamus, and below thalamus is the hypothalamus, and these are the retinas. You can say midbrain, which is coming from here, midbrain, mesencephalon, then midbrain, and midbrain in aqueduct, which is a part of midbrain, and hindbrain, rhombencephalon. Rhombencephalon has two parts, metencephalon and myencephalon. And these more differentiated forms will look like this: the pons and the cerebellum and the medulla. The upper part of the fourth ventricle, which is in the hindbrain, and the lower part of the fourth ventricle, which is also in the hindbrain. Central and peripheral nervous system origin. Neuroepithelia in the neural tubes, CNS neurons. These neural epithelia, which are part of neural tube, will differentiate into the CNS neurons, CNS glial cells which are have subtypes: the astrocytes, the oligodendrocytes, and the ependymal cells. The neural crus cells, which are the second part of the neural plate, these form the peripheral nervous system, which have subtypes: the dorsal root ganglions and the autonomic ganglions, which have subcategory autonomic ganglions have the subcategory sympathetic, parasympathetic, and enteric. And the PNS have their own glial cells. These are the Schwann cells, stellate cells, which form the neural sheath, and the adrenal medulla. It is also a part of the peripheral nervous system. The mesoderm, and these will differentiate in the microglia like the macrophages. These are the macrophages of the brain. And if you have a question that what are the macrophages, what are the names of the macrophages of the brain, you will answer it as microglia. So the second part is the